Hey guys, Level Cap here, and welcome to This Week in Gaming, your weekly news recap on everything going on in the gaming world. Today we've got some news about a major issue with Marvel Rivals, some fresh Half-Life 3 hype, Dune Awakening updates, and much more. Let's get into it. A bug in Marvel Rivals is causing a major balance issue for players on lower-end PCs. A handful of heroes in the game currently have certain actions tied to your in-game frame rate. This is generally a big no-no in multiplayer games. Venom, Magic, Doctor Strange, and Star-Lord all get slight nerfs when the game runs at 30 FPS or lower. These nerfs manifest as stuff like slower movement during certain animations, weaker DPS, and movement restrictions. The game's first major update is coming with Season 1 this month, so hopefully we'll see some issues resolved with that. The update will also add the Fantastic Four as playable heroes. A trailer for this content is expected on the 6th next week. Since launch, Marvel Rivals has taken the hero shooter genre by storm and has all but eclipsed Overwatch 2's player count, at least on Steam. Obviously, Steam charts for both games tell a very incomplete story about their popularity, especially since Overwatch 2 is probably mostly played without Steam access. Still, Rivals is averaging nearly 400,000 players a day, which is massively impressive. The voice actor who plays G-Man in the Half-Life series, Mike Shapiro, stirred up a new wave of Half-Life 3 is happening hysteria after tweeting a mysterious New Year's video message as his character. Shapiro's video ends with him saying, "See you in the new year." Hopefully, Shapiro's tweet is a hint of things to come. He seemingly only maintains the profile as a place to post about his actual work on the franchise, so the video just being kind of a random seasonal greetings seems unlikely. Recent leaks suggest Valve are currently doing a friends and family round of playtesting of Half-Life 3. Other leaks and rumors have suggested the game will feature an advanced physics system that lets props and materials do things like catch on fire in the way that they would in real life. Even more leaks say that the game will feature an insanely robust NPC interaction system that has AI essentially writing their own script based on your actions. As Call of Duty runs through the gamut of all possible crossover options, Squid Games has become the latest crossover event with Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Players, however, are frustrated as the event bucks the trend of previous events being totally free by locking most of its precious rewards behind a $10 paywall. The event offers two tiers, a free track and a premium track. While the free track does offer some premium-looking operator skins, the bulk of the weapon skins are locked to the paid track. The previous crossover events for Call of Duty with Fallout and Dune were both totally free. Players are critiquing the event as a battle pass between battle passes. This is a trend typically seen with other free-to-play titles. Delta Force has been doing that as a paid battle pass alongside the paid and free events. In other Call of Duty news, YouTuber Exclusive Ace has figured out a means of revealing your hidden skill-based matchmaking rating across the franchise. Requesting your account info from the game's privacy page will generate an incredibly granular report that details full match stats for every match you've played since Call of Duty's Vanguard release. This data includes the usual metrics like kills and deaths, your skill rating after each match, and even more unusual stuff like the operator skins and even the exclusive move you had equipped. Ace's findings suggest that the skill rating goes up and down based on both your actual match performance and your expected match performance. So if the game puts you in a match that it expects you to perform at a certain level in, but you fall short of that expectation despite still having an otherwise good game, it'll drop your skill rating. This is the first time this data has been exposed in such detail and could be a wellspring of insight into how Call of Duty's skill-based matchmaking actually works. An interesting aspect of Ace's rating graph is that it seems to get higher over time before dipping, then slowly rising to previous levels again. This suggests the game is matching him against more skilled players to ensure his average skill rating doesn't exceed a certain value. Analysts predict that Grand Theft Auto 6 will make over $3 billion in its first year, and while that sounds like scientists confirming water is in fact water, it's still an incredible figure. To put it in perspective, Grand Theft Auto 5 made about $3 billion revenue in its first year, and that's the second best-selling game ever made, only behind Minecraft. Estimates suggest that GTA 5 has made around $8 billion over its entire lifetime thanks to the ongoing success of GTA Online. Of course, estimates also suggest that Fortnite is making around $5 billion a year on average, so there's always a bigger fish, I guess. GTA 6 is scheduled to launch this year. NVIDIA is likely announcing their next generation GPUs at CES 2025 next week, but rumors suggest the power requirements for the RTX 5090 will be 28% higher than the current Gen 4090, which currently can draw momentary spikes of over 1,000 watts and has a TDP of 450 watts. Those spikes were so severe that many PC building enthusiasts and tech reviewers recommended beefy 1,000+ watt power supplies to support the 4000 series GPUs. The RTX 5090 and 5080 will reportedly have TDPs of 575 watts and 365 watts respectively. Considering these GPUs will likely be NVIDIA's most expensive offerings ever, it's unlikely that the average gamer will be rushing out to buy them on launch day. But if you're planning on upgrading, just make sure you got a power supply unit that can keep up with the insane power demands. The retro FPS Selaco hit 100,000 copies sold since launch in May last year. The game has received overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam and is currently in early access, sporting just one of its 3 planned chapters. Aside from being fantastic, the game is well known for utilizing the GZD Doom engine, which is essentially a source port of the 1993's Doom engine used to create modern conversions of the classic id Software games. This sales figure also further supports the metric in which the number of reviewers multiplied by the number 30 seems to be a pretty good rough estimate of how many copies of the game was sold on Steam. New info further lends credibility to the idea that Dune Awakening might actually be a real survival game after all. Beta testers are apparently dying of thirst as often as they're dying of the game's fearsome sandworm enemies. Managing your thirst has been a big focal point of the game's marketing, but many quote-unquote survival games end up going softer on the actual survival mechanics to the point that it becomes a background element to the actual gameplay rather than something you actually have to manage. A blog post about the test from the game's developers say that 58% of player deaths were due to NPCs, 27% were due to sandworms, and 22% were due to dehydration. Doing the math, the totals end up at 107%, so I wouldn't put too much weight in all of those metrics, but I imagine they're somewhere in the vicinity. Dune Awakening is expected to launch early this year. Rust is blowing past its own player count records ahead of a massive medieval update. It's hit a new peak of 262,000 players, which is 20,000 more than its previous record from 2021 during the COVID pandemic. The new primitive update launches on February 6th, and it turns the game into more of a medieval survival experience with guns and ammo being incredibly scarce. It also adds siege vehicles like towers, catapults, ballistas, and battering rams. And that wraps it up for our weekly report. If you guys are enjoying this news content, don't forget to drop us a like to let us know, subscribe for more content like it, and ding the notification bell if you want to beat that pesky YouTube algorithm with me. And if you want to look into why Arma Reforger is all of a sudden blowing up, check out my video on its latest update here. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.